Alright, so hello everyone, and welcome back to the Dragon Age Inquisition. A little side note, or like a warning, this episode is not gonna contain anything about the playthrough. It's only gonna contain me reading our codex. Because there are a few things that I am very interested in. Even though we are not really done with the game yet, we are getting closer and closer, and I thought that these the things from Codex might contain something very interesting. So there are like bunch of things. Today we're gonna be reading characters specifically. We don't have all of the characters unlocked. We're actually missing a lot of characters, not gonna lie. So if you're not really interested in these kind of things, like me reading or me sharing my thoughts on the side, you can just watch something else on my channel, or maybe wait for another episode to come out, because in another episode there will be an actual gameplay. I'm gonna start with Black Hole because Black Hole is a very interesting character, especially after everything we found out about him. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go play the game or check my gameplay. Okay, don't mind the sounds in the background because, like, my dogs are going a little crazy today. Constable of the Grey, Silverite Wings of Valor, hardly relevant now. There were in Black Hole's achievements, and the man we thought to be him was someone else entirely. It explains why I had scanned information on Black Hole. He must have been lying low for years. I compiled everything I had on Thomas Rainier. Read on Liliana. What follows is a history of Thomas Rainier prepared for delivery by Sister Liliana. Rainier was born in Markham, or Markham, something, a city-state in the Free Marches. There is little information on his early life, but he was already a skilled warrior by the time he turned 18. Hoping to make his fortune, he joined the Grand Tourney, that great marcher contest of arms. He won the melee, proving himself and earning a substantial sum of gold. What happened to the coin Rainier won in the tourney is a mystery. 2 years later, he appeared in Arlay, no richer than at 18. Still, he leveraged his abilities and lingering fame to gain a place in the Legion army. Rainier excelled as a soldier, rising through the ranks quickly to become a captain with a number of men under him. Yeah, that's the story we already know. Rainier's men were fiercely loyal. Our sorcerers believe that many would have gladly defied a higher command at his word. On the surface, Rainier safeguarded his men's interests, but further investigation reveals that he was primarily concerned with his own advancement and profit. Rainier's desire to amass a fortune likely explains his involvement in the massacre of Lord Vincent Collier and his family. Our sources tell us that Rainier was approached by a chevalier, Sir Robert Chapius, really don't know. Sir Robert supported Grand Duke Gaspard's claim to the throne and wished to enter into his good graces by eliminating Lord Collier, one of Celine's allies. Chapius hired Rainier to assassinate Collier and offered him a great deal of coin for it. We have no reason to believe his actions were politically motivated. In the spring of 935, Lord Collier and his family were traveling to their summer home on Lake Calistine, where their caravan was ambushed. It is unknown if Rainier realized that Collier would be traveling with his family. Rainier and his men slaughtered Lord Collier and his entourage. They spared not even the children, all four under the age of 13. It seems that none of Rainier's men were aware of the true reasons behind the Lord's killing. They simply followed Rainier's orders. Rumors of Rainier's connection to the murders began swirling through the upper ranks of the army and must have given him forewarning. He was gone when guards came to arrest him. His men, however, were not so lucky. Almost all were charged with treason. save a few who managed to get away. Tom Rainier was labeled a traitor and a criminal, but remained at large until now. So I suppose he could have died with the choices that we could have made, and then this codex would be a little different in the end. Yeah, but what my opinion on Black Hole is, he's a very difficult man. I actually, you know that I've played this game before, obviously, and all of my playthroughs, I wanted to actually have a romance with him, but every single time I was like, maybe not, because he's so complex to like a point, and what we hear from him now, I guess he's sort of regretting it. I guess, like from what I can tell, obviously I don't really know what his true intentions are, but yeah, he's helping. He's on our side, and he said he will stay on our side until the end of days. I like Black Hole. I think this whole thing with like him killing a family for gold is like, and him pretending to be a different man is also like sort of yikes. But if we just put that aside, I mean, of course, you can't really put that aside, can you? Um, he's a nice guy. With his own issues. Okay. Then we have Briala. Briala. Oh, okay. Watch out for elves in Halam Sharal. Almost no one notices they're even present. A servant scrubbing floors, a waiter filling glasses, under gardeners weeding the border, maids and valets dressing nobles. There is no room, a cove, or alley so private you can't find one there. And they're watching. They're organized. The rumor you've heard of some mastermind leading the elves is no rumor. I have reports that this Boreala was Celine's personal spy and assassin, a bard of unusual skill. Who she's working for now, we cannot confirm. Say nothing, they will hear you. Briella, well, I like Briella to the extent, like, I'm really glad that I decided that they, rule together, or like, Celine is getting back together with Briella, because if you don't know, they were dating, they had like a little something, and in the end I've decided, so they work together, I kind of made them get together again or something like that. I like Borella is cool, but again, like, she's not she's not my favorite, she's just like a cool character, of course. Then we have Calpurnia. I had never heard of Calpurnia before I joined the Venatori. The Winter Circles have no record of a mage of that name, so I thought her perhaps a magister from one of the old houses who took a false title. Calpurnia appears to have no background at all, however, and offers no hints to her past. I cannot openly challenge her. The woman is a fair mistress to her followers, and her passion to restore the Imperium's glory strengthens their hearts and loyalty. Besides, her spells blister with power. Only a fool would try to undermine Calpurnia by force. We will require a lighter touch. Calpurnia is that woman that I forgot the name in the previous episode. The blonde one. She's like, she's Corypheus's pupil, as it says here. Master Star pupil. She's complicated. I remember that you could actually fight her next to the Well of Sorrows if you wouldn't have told her that all Curtis is doing is like preparing her for like this master plan he has, and that he's just gonna do something mean to her in the end. I'm kind of glad that she decided to listen to us. For that, I respect her. So yeah, next one we have Cassandra. Well, not so much about those characters. It's weird enough for me because like we've read like a whole text about Black Hole slash Tom Rainier, and now we have like this tiny little thing about Cassandra. That's a little weird, knowing that she was also in Dragon Age 2. I thought they might have like given her more of a, screen time. Okay. Cassandra Pentecost, Lord Seeker Lucius, I'm fully aware of the intent behind your predecessor's declaration. Lord Seeker Lombard pried the Templars away from Chantry control and led them into an assault upon all mages. For reasons you both find justified, I, however, am uncertain when the Seekers of Truth went from guarding against injustice to perpetrating it. If you truly believe that is not the case, I suggest you look out a window at the chaos this war has caused and ask yourself if Thedas will recover even if you are victorious. That's how it works in most wars, actually. I remain at Divine Justine's right hand and will stay there even if you're brand me traitor. I am sorry, but there is too much at stake to swerve from the path we willingly followed at the Chantry's Foundation. From a letter by Secret Cassandra Pentecost to Lord Lucius Corin, Dragon 939. Cassandra, I actually like Cassandra would be in my top 3 characters in Dragon Age Inquisition because she's so cool. Like, I could literally relate to her in so many levels because, like, you know, what I'm gonna say might sound a little weird, but like she is a strong, independent woman, and I love her. She is standing by her word in any way possible, and I really, really, really like her. Even this whole text here, it says like, I am sorry, like I will stay there even if you brand me a traitor. Like she's such a cool character. Cassandra is like my top 3 Dragon Age Inquisition characters. She's so cool. That's also might be the reason why I always take her in my camps when we're traveling somewhere. Then we have Cole. His name is Cole. He's not that old, perhaps 20 years, no more. He was blonde hair that hangs in front of his eyes. He wears dirty leathers, perhaps the only clothes he owns. He was there when you found Riss in the Templar crypt, but you couldn't see him. Nobody can, and those who do forget him, just like you're right now. Remember the dream. A letter allegedly written by former Knight Captain found in the spire in the aftermath of the Mage Uprising. Inquisitor, if you believe that this Cole truly wishes to help the Inquisition and can be trusted to do so safely, I am willing to give him a chance to prove himself. As Solus insists that he's a spirit made manifest in the form of a young man, not a demon possessing an unwilling victim, I concede that he may not be malicious. Nevertheless, Cole's abilities concern me. I would ask Liliana to have him watched, but most of Skyhold seems unable to see this spirit or remember him even if informed of his existence. The servants complain of odd occurrences, items mislaid or moved to strange locations, but have thus far been unable to see or remember the person responsible. Such actions appear harmless thus far, but I remain vigilant. Cassandra. Cole, Cole appreciates Disquisition helping those who are hurting and in need. Yeah, I did notice that. He does. A lot of, like, lots of times when you make a choice, Cole usually always appears the first, and sometimes Cole can improve when he's not even in the party. I enjoy Cole and his weirdness. Okay, then we have Corypheus. Corypheus is the main villain of this game, and I'm sure his codex is gonna be updated. But let's read what we have for now. Let me tell you what I know about the Seven. Those 700 magisters said to have entered the Golden City long ago. Each was a high priest to one of the old gods. Each came to the ritual shrouded in secrecy, hiding their true name even from each other. They were competitors, you see. The old gods told them they would break into the Golden City and usurp the Maker's throne. but only one of them could sit on that throne. Each assumed a title related to their role in casting the ritual. Some texts claimed they had a leader, the high priest of Dumat called Corypheus. He did not rule this group, but instead conducted it, coordinating their efforts to achieve a magical feat never since replicated. They breached the fade, walked physically in dreams, and changed our world forever. Perhaps these seven were the first Darkspawn cursed by the Maker, as the Chant of Light tells us. Perhaps not. One would think these magisters long dead, but there are whispers this is not so. Think, if you will, what might become of the minds of such beings, corrupted by the blight, cast down from prideful folly, simmering in resentment and darkness for over 1,000 years. I'm sorry for my thing to. Hey guys, stop it! Dogs decided to go completely mad today. Maybe it's good that I'm not actually recording the gameplay. Where did I stop? Where would such men live? Who knows of them? For some months, whispers persist. What secrets do they yet hold, and what would we do should any of them return to the light? With luck, these are questions we'll never have to answer. From questioning the chant by Magister Vibius Agorian. So this is basically so much as we know about Corypheus. Yeah, I'm sure we'll find out more. Cullen, let's go. Yeah, Cullen is in my top 3 favorite characters. He's actually so complex. I'm gonna explain in a bit why I like this character so much. Anyway, Cullen, whatever you have heard of Kirkle's rebellion, the truth is far worse. I would spare you that. Who's telling? Oh, Commander Cullen. Okay, let's go. What remains of Kirkle's Templars have been under my command for the past few years. We have done what we could to assist with the city's recovery, to restore some semblance of order, but my time here is done. Seeker Pentecost has approached me. She wishes to stop the war between mages and Templars. She has been recruiting men and women to the cause and wishes me to oversee the group's military concerns. If the conclave goes well, then we will not be needed. If not, we stand ready. I have decided to take Secret Pentagost's offer. Circles have fallen. I can give no more to the Templar Order, nor it to me. The Maker has shown me a new path. I must take it. From a letter sent to Southreach by Commander Cullen. Aww. Oh, dear me, I'm still alive, your loving brother. We have read this. I'm gonna cry right now. Cullen, I was glad to receive your last letter. You sound happy. It's been never mind. I just hope you're well. Which reminds me, Evelyn, not Inquisitor, not her worship, the Herald of Andraste. Your last letter was far too short. Love, Mia. That this thing is here because we have romance, blah blah blah. Mia, I will write you a longer letter when there's time. Stop crying. Cullen. So Cullen, oh god, why am I even crying right now? Cullen is a very complicated character from Dragon Age Origin. Cullen has been in every Dragon Age game, as well as Morrigan, which is like so surprising because like Morrigan is such an like important character, and I thought as well as Cullen, but he's not that like important to an extent of like Morrigan, especially like after the last main mission. Cullen is important in different extents. So basically, if you don't know, we meet Cullen first time in the Mage's Tower, and he's basically so lost at the time that we see him that he doesn't even realize what is happening. He is so scared, he's so clueless about the situation. I mean, later he explains what's happening, but it doesn't get better for him later. And then the whole Kirkwall situation, and he was there and he saw he there are many things that we can like understand from him talking. He said like he really trusted what was her name that later went mad and turned into the stone. What's her name? I don't remember. That's the thing. I apologize. Not only that he was broken before and he trusts this person and he sees that she's slowly going crazy and he can't really help her, and all he can do is like listen to orders. And finally, for like once in his life, he joins the Inquisition and things start to get better. Man, like me talking about it right now just makes me so emotional because imagine what he's been through. He's lost his comrades, he's lost his men. He was so weak. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't go against what's her name? God. Not only he couldn't help the people in the circle of Magi in Dragon Age Origin, but he also couldn't help anybody in Kirkwall. It says here, what you've heard of Kirkwall's rebellion, the truth is far worse. And he was the one who experienced it from the inside. I'm sure it would break any man, but he stands strong. He stands strong. He follows a different path, and that's where we find him in Dragon Age Inquisition. Cullen is such a great character, and I definitely do not regret having a romance with him because he deserves to be happy for once. He finally deserves the happiness. He finally deserves the peace in his life. I love Cullen. Okay, let's go to the next character. Oof, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to read all of them today, but Divine Justinia V. Formerly the Revered Mother Dorothea of Verlay, Divine Justinia V rose to power after the death of Divine Beatrix III in the year 934 of the Dragon Age. Little is known of Dorothea's background before she joined the Chantry, but she's proved to be a liberal and daring thinker, willing to take a former bard and lay sister, Liliana, as a close advisor. A headstrong devotion to her own agenda and rumored support of the Mage Rebellion earned her no small dislike from the powerful priests long used to controlling access to the divine. In the year 940 of the Dragon Age, Divine Justinia called a summit, intending to negotiate a truce between the Mage Rebellion and the Templars, splintered from the Chantry. The Divine Conclave was held at the Temple of Sacred Ashes, the most holy place in Thedas. Before a resolution could be reached, a cataclysm explosion destroyed the conclave, consumed the temple, rent the sky, and shattered the world's hopes for peace. Divine Justinia V perished in the Temple of Sacred Ashes. The Chantry flounders, leaderless, in the wake of her death, and his fate grows increasingly uncertain. If order is not restored to Thedas, Justinia V might be remembered as the Chantry's final divine. Okay, Dorian Pavos, only child and heir presumptive to the senatorial seat of Magister Halvard Pavos. Dorian comes from a prestigious line of mages, prominent in the coastal Tevinter city of Caranos since the late Exalted Age. I'm really sorry if I'm reading those things wrong. At that time, the Imperium was recovering from a failed Exalted March and the Fourth Blight. Gideon Pavos arose as a voice of reason within the magisterium. His bloc of allies convinced the Imperium to not descend upon the weakened South, to extend a hand of reconciliation to those who had once sought their destruction. That house Pavos remained standing even after Magister Gideon was tried for treason is a statement to the power he built. A lesson he says one should never forget. Dern is an amazing character. He has his own difficulties, like every single character in this game, as you've noticed. But he stands his ground. For example, if my parents would be forcing something else on me, I think at one point I would just give up. Honestly, he's just standing his ground. He says, "I want that and this, and if you don't like it, Then I'm gonna leave. And he left. We'll see what future brings him. But he's fun. He's cool. I really like Dorian. Empress Celine Valmont. My dear Viscount, I congratulate you on securing an invitation to appear at court. Allow me to present you with these 3 words of advice as a gift. Don't underestimate Celine. You must not mistake her reputation as a diplomat and peacemaker to mean she avoids conflicts. Dozens of her enemies littered the bottom of the harbor in Valrayo. Negotiation did not send them there. She is as shrewd and ambitious as her grandfather, Judicial the First, but unlike him, she knows how to handle the nobility because she knew how to win the support she needed to overcome even her bitterest rivals. She can keep a pet apostate in front of the chantry because even the divine fears her influence. Do enjoy your visit to the palace. Grand Duchess Florian, she's working for us for now. There was like sort of like a quest after, and I think she's like sort of disappeared. Don't remember. But, Your Grace, you requested the swiftest, surest method of getting a message to Grand Duke Gaspard, so I have arranged for you to meet with his sister, Grand Duchess Floriane de Chalons. While she is of the least account among the current heirs to the Eurasian throne, her connection to her brother is extremely close. Gaspard will listen to anything she says. Be persuasive. M. Then we have Grand Duke Gaspard de Chalons as well. Lady Montillon, I guess. I can offer no apology for my nephew's behavior the other night. Gaspard has never betrayed any interest in following my advice. In truth, everything he said to you at your own dinner party, he has also said to me. His resentment at being deprived of the throne has festered for some time, and he was never one to accept defeat gracefully. I would take Gaspard's threats of war seriously. I do not believe my nephew knows how to resolve problems through the use of anything but steel. If his record on the battlefield is any indication, he's quite adept at so doing. I shall be increasing my personal guard directly. Sincerely, Duke Gratian. And then we have Grand Enchanter Fiona. Okay, I already forgot about her completely. Grand Enchanter Fiona. She is, for instance, the only member of the Circle of Magi ever to leave due to recruitment by the Grey Wardens and then return. She became first enchanter of the Monsimard Tower and then elected Grand Enchanter at the college in Cumberland. Urging for a vote on the matter led to the College of Enchanters dissolution in 940 Dragon, and then when a vote was attempted secretly, the Lord Seeker Lombard of the Seekers of Truth arresting Fiona and her fellow enchanters. Following their flight to the ruin of Andorol's Reach, the escaped mages held and passed a final vote on the Circle of Magi's independence. This began the Mage Rebellion. While Fiona no longer holds the official position of Grand Enchanter, most mages still consider her an integral part of the rebellion's leadership. Hero of Ferelden. Okay. The hero Ferelden was the daughter of Bryce Cusland. Tired of Highever, when Earl House forces attacked Castle Cusland and murdered most of the Cusland family, the hero escaped to safety with Grey Warden Commander Duncan, who then recruited her into the Order. After defeating the Archdemon and ending the Fifth Blight, the hero Ferelden was wed to King Alistair and crowned Queen of Ferelden. She and the king ruled the country together until she disappeared several years later. The Inquisition has discovered that she has gone west in search of a way to cure the calling. Oof, I have goosebumps. Okay, if you don't remember who that is, that's the guy who led us out from the haven and later died. I know the Dragon Age 4 is coming out, so what are they gonna make out of this? Cure for calling. Anyway, there are some who claim men have no place in the chantry beyond the lowest rank of scholarly brothers and those who take their place amongst the Templars. It is not true. This is an organization spanning 7 nations from the smallest village chantry to the grand cathedral in Valrio. It takes more than sermons to keep it alive. There is an invisible army at work ensuring meals are delivered, repairs are made, and faithful attended to, and much of it done by chantry brothers like myself. I control who is permitted an audience, handle her correspondence, deliver her word to Thedas, and serve as her advisor on matters which may be mundane but cannot be disregarded. If I have influence, let it be said, it is something I use sparingly, if at all. I and my fellows bear a burden so that others are free to guide the spirits of Thedas unencumbered. 938 Dragon. Then we have Iron Bull. Oof, Iron Bull. My dear friend, I completely understand the difficulty you face. To have such well-equipped bandits attack your family's caravan so regularly and with such exquisite knowledge of your shipping schedules is indeed highly unfortunate. There is no shame at all in finding your household guards wanting in such trying circumstances. To answer your question, when faced with my own troubles last year, I employed the Bull's charges. Their leader, the Iron Bull, is a Canary, a great horned giant of a man. He looked like a savage, but spoke like a gentleman. He seems unstoppable in combat, but is far more clever than a simple swordsman. His mercenaries were costly, but they were both strong enough to protect my family's caravans and clever enough to discover how the bandits came into such luck in their attacks upon my family. If you wish to employ the Iron Bull, I can provide you with his contact information, as well as a list of the liquors he enjoys most particularly. Will your husband also be present in these negotiations, or will you be making the acquaintance of the Iron Bull in a more intimate setting? If so, we shall have to talk the next time our men go hunting. Yours in friendship, B. A letter lifted from a hidden drawer in a nobleman's vanity and copied carefully before being returned. Okay, interesting. Yeah, Iron Bull is fun. I like him, but we haven't finished his main quest, so I'm sure we'll find out more about him. Then we have Josephine Montilia. Secret Cassandra. Josephine Montilia is a noble from the nation of Antiva. She was educated in Valerio, where she built connections among the court. Once she finished her schooling, at a surprisingly young age, Lady Montilia became the official diplomat between King Fulgeno of Antiva to Empress Celine of Relay. The appointment suits her. She's well traveled, familiar with many forms of etiquette, and by all accounts, a skilled negotiator. If that endorsement does not suffice, Josephine is a personal friend. I have faith in her. We require someone both influential and trustworthy to be an ambassador for the Inquisition. You cannot tell me you would prefer to take the job yourself. Sister Liliana. Writing to Secret Cassandra. Okay, then we have Liliana. Ooh, Liliana. Did Liliana appear in Dragon Age 2? I wonder. No. Or did she in the end? I don't remember. Yeah, but Liliana is also very interesting character, especially knowing that she was our friend. She was Hero's friend. Yeah, it's cool that she was brought back. She has many names. Most know her as Sister Liliana or the Nightingale. Some refuse to speak her name at all, referring to her only as the left hand of the divine, the shadow behind the sunburst throne. The spymaster Oof, Marjolaine trained Liliana from a young age. I really don't know how to read this. I don't think it's read like how I read it. Marjolaine? For years, Liliana was Marjolaine's instrument in the great game of Arlay. While Liliana was devoted to Marjolaine, the reverse was not true. Marjolaine betrayed Liliana and almost succeeded in killing her. Liliana survived the betrayal thanks to revered mother Dorothea. Following this betrayal, Liliana spent several years in a cloister in Ferelden, hiding from her past. Inspired by her revered mother Dorothea, Liliana dedicated herself to her faith, discovering peace in a simple life of devotion. But when the fifth blight began, she received what she believed a vision from the Maker. This prompted her to leave her sanctuary, taking up arms against the Darkspawn. That's where we met her. No, we actually met her. We have met her in the bar, as well as I remember. Several years after the defeat of the Archdemon, Lyanna received a summons from Dorothea, now Divine Justinian V. She returned to Relay to become an agent of the Sunburst throne. Justinia perished in the explosion that destroyed the Divine Conclave, and Lyanna became a founding member and spymaster of the New Inquisition. Actually, it doesn't say any, doesn't mention any of her connections to the Hero of Ferelden, which is a little disappointing. Lord Seeker Lucius Corrin. I actually have no idea who this guy is. For months, we were also certain Lord Seeker Lombard's death was an assassination carried out by mages. He had, after all, declared the Navarran Accord null and void, hurtling us headlong into a war against the rebels. How else would he be killed, except as an act of retribution? The entire Templar Order was fired up, ready to take up the fight against the mages, something we were sure would be over in a matter of weeks. Thus, the election of Lucius Corrin into the role made me despair. He agreed to the Divine's conclave, and every Templar I knew felt certain he would compromise to see the war ended. But lately, the man seems different. Does he not? I never met him before he assumed command, but even in this short time, his opinions on the war have turned. He did not go to the conclave he personally supported. In fact, he seems to regret supporting it at all. He talks of the Templars establishing themselves as a power in our own right, and our own fellows are all too eager to listen. I don't know from where this change of heart came, but I begin to wonder if Lombard's death wasn't as simple a matter as we assumed. Something is amiss within our order, and all I know is that it's beyond me to discover what. Ooh, from a letter written by an unknown Templar, which is very interesting, on in a burnout fort, 941 dragon. Who's this? Magister Erimond. Is this Dorian's? No, this is not Dorian's father. Erimond? No, this is Dorian's father. Who is this then? My dearest Demetrius, I hope this letter finds you recovered from those ghastly meetings about road repair or import taxes or whatever terribly important work has consumed your time. I applaud your patriotic efforts to maintain the Imperium's infrastructure while the horned beasts to the north wage bloody war upon us. I have asked before, but you're my closest friend, and now that you have seen the stirrings of our work, I hoped you might reconsider. You cannot think your talents adequately spent on road work, Mitri. You come from the blood of the dreamers. My master will restore the Imperium to a greatness it has not seen since our ancestors walked in the Golden City. He will rule not just a nation, but the world. Those who show loyalty now stand to reap the benefits when all the world kneels to the Venatori. Perhaps you are more comfortable with roads. When my master returns to Winter to the glory it deserves, he will be pleased to find the nation well paved. Consider, well, my friend, Magister Luvius Aramond of Virantium. Honestly, every single guy from To Winter wants to restore To Winter. Like, how bad is it? Like, what's happening? How bad is your To Winter that every single guy wants to rebuild it? God. Okay. A return to its glory. That's what I wanted to say. Lords and ladies of the Magisterium, before we vote on the budget for the latest measure against the Kunari, I would ask that we take a moment to consider the state of our institution of higher learning. The circle of Minrathos is more than 10,000 years old. Darinios, the dreamer himself, was born within those walls. It continues to be a source of wisdom and guidance for the best and brightest of the Imperium's youth. Yet it falls into despair. Magister Orarius has made her case several times for increased funding to the circles, and as yet her appeals have gone unanswered. Magister Viren, really don't know, has spoke at length on the threat of the Oxmen in the north, a tide of brutality that we alone hold back. Let me add this. How shall we defeat the Canary? How have we held back their advance all these long years without support from the other nations of Thedas? You know the answer. Magic. It is our magic that holds the beasts at bay. My friends and colleagues, this is the battle we prepare our apprentices, sons, and daughters to face. They need the resources to discover new magic, new techniques that can lead us an advantage in this endless war. They cannot do this while roofs crumble over their heads. Repair the circles. Let the Imperium's future be more than slow decline to the marching steps of legions. Taken from the official minutes in 939. Okay, Oregon. Oof. Oregon was not in Dragon Age. Wait. Was Morrigan in Dragon Age 2? She wasn't. I tricked you all. Why did I think she was in Dragon Age 2? Am I silly? I tricked you. I'm sorry. It was Cullen then. Okay, I'll look it up. I too am concerned about this new advisor to the Imperial Court. If Celine is truly curious about magic, why not turn to Madame de Fer with her questions? Why seek out this dark-haired apostate from Ferelden? Why bring the woman here? There is no way to be certain, of course, but the witch and Celine argue often. If Morgan tells Celine something unpleasant, she will avoid the witch for months before curiosity draws her back. Morgan has an interest in ancient things, magic from a time before the Chantra even existed, and it is this pursuit that intrigues Celine. Morgan can answer questions that Madame de Fer either could not or would not. Three of my spies disappeared after attempting to breach the spells protecting this woman's laboratory in the depths of our palace. Of the palace. I would raise a fuss, but then my efforts would be revealed, even though I doubt I am alone. The entire court is consumed with curiosity, and the more Celine keeps her in the sidelines, the more we all wish to know. Our Empress plays with fire, considering she has yet to find herself a husband to solidify the future of her dynasty. These dealings with the apostate are one more nail in her coffin. Yours in trust, Madame de Carnay. Professor Frederick of Surold. Oh, it's that guy. Anton, if anyone alive can answer your questions about the social habits of the greater Vimark Vivern. It is Frederick of Serold, professor of draconology at the University of Raleigh. I have met him a few times, and he is exceedingly knowledgeable about his field of study, although less knowledgeable about his current state of dress, the day of the week, and the location of his quill and ink. But nonetheless, quite brilliant. Sir Shroud. Okay, let's end on Sir Shroud. I sadly cannot continue. I'm a little tired. Or should we end with him? Okay, let's end with Sir Shroud, and then we're gonna start with Sir on the next episode. Okay, born the younger son of a minor noble family in the fields of Gislaine, Jean-Marc Stroud had just finished training at the Academy des Chevaliers when he received word that his family had been killed. Ostensibly by bandits. In reality, they were victims of the Legion Great Game. Sir Shroud's plan to find his family murderers was cut short when the Grey Wardens Chlorel recruited Stroud on the advice of the Academy trainers who did not wish to see a promising young chevalier throw his life away in fruitless pursuit of vengeance. Unable to refuse such a request honorably, Sir Shroud joined the Wardens and left his old life behind. Oh, I didn't know about that actually. Warden Stroud has served the Grey Wardens with honor for decades. He's regarded as one of the finest swordsmen in the Order, combining his study at the Academy with years of fighting Darkspawn alongside dwarves in the Deep Roads. Warden Commander Clarel has tasked him with recruiting and training new wardens. Most young warden warriors owe their skill to Stroud's mentorship. Shroud prefers to travel in the free marches rather than Orlais, knowing his family history could cause him to become caught up in the game, leading to accusations of political interference among the wardens. He also has no strong opinions regarding mages or Templars, although he believes both groups wrong to turn their back on the Chantry, which Stroud holds in some esteem. An intelligence report delivered to Liliana. Okay, yeah. I really enjoyed it today. I wish I would have done the same thing in Dragon Age Origin. I don't remember if there was such thing as like codex in Dragon Age 2. There were letters. I do remember that, but was there something like this? I remember there was in Dragon Age Origin, or am I wrong? But I really, really, really like this. We're gonna do more characters next time. Obviously, it's not gonna be in the next episode. I'm really curious to read about um tales. Tales are some of the tales are interesting. And places, of course. We're gonna take our time with this. I hope you really don't mind. And if you don't mind, go do something else. Don't be bothered. In the next episode, we'll continue our adventures. In the final piece, speak with Morgan in Skyhold's garden. We're gonna do that. And slowly but surely, go to the end of the game. There's still some DLCs that I would like to play. So we're gonna do that hopefully soonish too. Yeah, but it was all for today. If you want to see more of the Dragon Age, please consider liking this video, subscribing to my channel. It was all for today. Thank you everyone who's still the very end of this video, and I hope we'll see each other in the next one. So thank you for watching, and bye.